right, cool. So I think we're good to go. I'm just gonna wait for this thing to load. Awesome, all right. All right, cool, yeah, so we are all set. I'm gonna just share my screen. And I'm gonna log into command, so it's just agent.kw.com. And the class today was gonna be rocking your marketing campaigns in command. So that's going to encompass the campaign section. I think I'll touch in the smart plans and some of the designs as well. And I think if we're going to go with a little bit of like a holiday theme, I can show you how you can do like an example of like a holiday email to your database. But let's get started. And usually when I get started with any of these marketing classes, the one thing I always like to go over first is the marketing profile. So as soon as you kind of jump into command, whether you're a new agent or you're an agent who's been using this for a little while now, I always like to say just kind of go into your settings. And if we go under connect settings here, under marketing profile, I just like to make sure all this information is completed. So pretty much the first thing you get when you first start with command is a task that's going to be to set up your marketing profile. And that's just going to be my headshot, information about myself. You can see here some details, my bio, etc. So I would just recommend, if you haven't done this, or if you have and you just haven't filled out everything, definitely make sure that you go in here and fill out all this info. One other thing I will mention as well, and I noticed this with a campaign that I sent out earlier last week, you want to make sure all these details are pre-filled, because some of the templates have merge fields. And if it notices that there's something missing on your marketing profile, it will flag the email as an error and it won't send it. So this might be something that KWRI is going to fix in the near future, but I noticed it the other day and it kind of was alarming because I didn't know about it until I checked under a contact. So definitely make sure you have the most completed information, and I'll show you why as we get into those templates. But let's go ahead and move out of this. I'm going to go back in the settings again. The one other thing I want to show under here as well is under my email services, I have something called command email, and that is already set up for you by default. But if I wanted to change anything like my email that's being used or the reply to name, I can go under here where it says manage, and I can also change that information as well. So I do have just my standard, my first and last name, and my reply to email is going to be my KW email. And again, you can change that to whatever you want. So if you have like a custom domain, for example, you can use that for your command email as well. All right, so let's go back to my home screen. And as I mentioned, if we click the red KW button, there's going to be an option here for something called campaigns. And under campaigns, if I click on it, you're going to be brought to this dashboard here. And this dashboard is going to have just some overview of information about some of the campaigns I've ran in the past. So for example, it's going to show me, which of my campaigns have the most leads, which is the lowest cost per lead, most engaged, for example. These are all things that will kind of help you when you're putting together Facebook advertising, how well those campaigns are performing. The other thing under here that you'll also notice, and this is great because this just gives you quick content to post on your social media right away. They're called quick posts, and right now they do have a lot that are kind of in regards to the winter season. So like this is kind of giving you information about cold and flu season. If you shuffle around a bit, you'll notice that it has some other information here, but these are going to auto-generate, and then once you can find one that you like, you can click on that and it auto-generates the content for you. So for a quick marketing piece that you want to just have showcased on your Facebook, this is a great option that's available to you. And I'll go into that in a little bit more details as we kind of move through the marketing pieces. So let's actually switch over. Let's go under emails. So I want to just go into emails real quick because they made some edits to this system that I find to be really quite useful. So if you've done any emails blast before, whether it be through something like MailChimp or, you know, Constant Contact, whatever sort of email provider that you've used, Command actually has something built in now. So when we're going through Command email, that's actually what's being used to generate the content that you can then send out to your database. Or if you had lists set up in here, you can also do that. Those would go out instantly. All right. So in regards to emails, let's go ahead and we'll put one together. And I'm going to show you here, if we hit create new campaign, if we wanted to then send out an email, all you have to do is simply click on the email button. And let's just call this holiday email. So we're going to send out something to my database for the holidays. Email blast, and I'll say 12/20/20, something like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select other. And right now, these aren't going to have an effect on how the email is sent out. But I believe what's going to happen in the future is they're going to use those goals to help you set up emails quicker. So it'll probably just give you more kind of like streamlined information or templates that you can use depending on the goal that you're trying to achieve. All right, so if we go down to the bottom, there's going to be an option here. It's going to say, where will this campaign run? And I can say email, or I can say MailChimp. Right now, my MailChimp isn't connected and it wasn't working when I tried it last time. But in any case, we're not going to worry about that. We have command email here, which is all good to go. We can hit setup campaign. And now you'll see here on the left-hand side is going to be like my editor, which kind of helps me build the email. And then on the right-hand side, it's going to be the preview of the email. So right now I don't have a preview because I haven't set up a template yet. So let's firstly go through the steps that are involved. We have general info that's already set. We have the account that's going to be sending the email out, which is my KW email. Now for recipient list, this is important. So you'll notice that I have quite a few in here right now, but you're probably wondering, how did I create that? So the way that you create your list in Command, you go into where it says create list. And right now, the way that you can do it, and I find the simplest way to do it, is sorting by a specific tag. So let's say, for example, I'm going to use a list of contacts who would reply back to my email or my ad rather. And I don't have anybody on that. Let's see if I have like a better example. Let's see. I'm going to select, let's say, imports. Just trying to find a list that I can kind of show you. All right, let's see. I'll just use one of these tags here. Let's do a Met. And it looks like I'm striking out. Let's see if I have open house contacts even. Open house contacts. All right, so let's say hypothetically, I have a list of contacts here that I want to select to add to my, my email list. Actually, let's unselect these tags. We're just going to do my whole database here. But let's say hypothetically, I had the list set up where it was sorting by my SOI, or maybe it's going to be my sphere of influence, SOI, yeah. So let's say here, I have it sorted by that specific tag, and then what I want to do is add them to an email list. There's a couple ways you can do it. I can obviously select one by one, but you probably want to do something a little bit quicker. So if you hit that select all button, it will select the first 100 contacts in that list. So let's say I don't have 100 contacts in that list. Maybe it's like 50 contacts. It would just select all those all at once. And then I can say here, holiday email blast. And I'm just using that as the example. And I'll just hit confirm. So what's going to happen is that list that I just created is going to be the list that I use for this particular marketing piece. So right now I have that list set up with those 100 contacts. What I can do now is I can say something like happy holidays. And from here, what I can do is then select the template that I want to use. Now, there's two different options available. There's My Templates, and then there's also KWRI templates. So what is the difference between those two? My templates are going to be any of the ones that I built myself or edited from a existing template. The KWRI templates are going to be your standard ones that are provided from KW. And as you can see right now, there's quite a few of them. There's about 40 something, but they're all different themes. So you'll have some that are for seller leads or buyer leads or things like even requesting information for a referral, or you can go through here and check them all out, but there's quite a few. And I just want to make sure I have everything muted so I'm not losing my audio. So just give me a second. All right. But if anybody has questions as I'm going through, please feel free to just kind of shout them out. So I'm going through here. As I said, there's quite a few templates, but let's say like hypothetically, we're sticking to the theme of the holiday. So I'm going to go ahead and choose here.
I have a question for you.
Holiday. And just gonna... So I'm going to choose my holiday one.
Chris, you can hear me?
Yes.
Hi. When I go in there, I don't see all these options. I only
Make sure you're selecting where it says KWRI templates.
KWRI templates. Okay.
Yep.
That will be on the top of the screen because I don't recall seeing.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll go back in a little bit once I
gotcha. Okay.
Get this sorted out.
Thanks, Chris.
All good. So the email here, you're going to notice it probably looks really weird because there's some things that look like it's broken, right? So you see here, it's like market center name. There's here, dear contact first name, and then it goes into other information at the bottom. And you're probably thinking it looks really broken or there's something wrong with the template. So in the beginning of the class, I mentioned there's something set up in these templates called merge fields. And the merge fields are actually auto-populating from the marketing profile. So that's why I said if some of this information is missing, it breaks the template and then it doesn't send out correctly. So the information here, if I actually scroll up and hit preview, you'll notice that the information does change and it does reflect my marketing profile information as well. The information here where it says something like contact first name, that automatically changes as well. And KW released an update recently actually that I find to be really cool, where you can actually say like, I want to see what it looks like from the point of view of Agnes, for example. So you see here, it actually will change that information on the template for you. So you get an idea of, oh, when I send it to Agnes, what is it going to look like? And this just doesn't apply to this particular template. This can apply to any template that you set up in the system. So let's go ahead and X out of this. And one other thing you're probably asking, or you're probably wondering is like, well, if I don't like that image, can I change the image out? You could. You can change the text as well. If you double click on it, you can change the text here. So if you're familiar with MailChimp, it's very similar to that. On the right-hand side is going to be the widgets you can drag in. And in the middle or left-hand side is going to be the kind of the preview of the template as I'm building it. Now, if I wanted to change this image out, perhaps I didn't like it, or I just wanted to use something a little bit more festive or however you want to call it. You can double click on the image and you can actually replace that here. Now, what you can also do is use images that you uploaded. And you can see here, I have like a little bit of a library. You can also add images. So if I wanted to add images from a template, or if I wanted to use something that I downloaded from the internet, I can definitely do that. Now you'll notice that there's also a tab here for listing images. So if I'm using that for marketing a property, for example, I can actually search for the property address, and that would come up here, as you can see, and I can then use those images for my marketing as well. But if I go into my images, these are going to be the images I uploaded, and I can say like I want to use this one. I can hit replace, and if I hit done, that will change it on the template. One thing I noticed recently that they also did was they fixed this. So now if I upload images, it automatically resizes it to the template size. Before you had to manually change that, and it was kind of a little bit of a pain. But now they made it a little bit easier. So you'll notice here now, if I look at it, it looks very clean. It's nothing like crazy, but for a simple email blast that's just going to go out to my database, or a list of contacts in my database, I find this to be quite nice. And this was just an example of a holiday blast. Now, let's say we wanted to then save this. We're going to just save and exit. Now, for me to send this out, there's a couple ways I can do it. I could schedule it, and this is a game changer in my opinion, because when you're scheduling it, you can pretty much set it and forget it. It's going to just schedule it in advance, kind of like how you would do it in MailChimp. And I can say like, I want this to go out maybe this week, and I want it to go out on a specific time. Let's say we'll do 1 p.m. And then that's going to be set to go out on that particular time on that day. And it's quite useful. Now, you can also just do it where you send it out pretty much instantly if you hit send, and that's going to send it out for you pretty much as soon as you click that send button. So I want to just go back, and I want to just quickly go over some of the things that happen after you send an email out. Now, you're going to notice here that I have a few that were sent out. And if I click on the little 3 dots on the dashboard of this email section, and I hit preview, I can see things like how many clicks were made, how many were opened, what was the bounce rate, how many actual emails were sent, how many were unsubscribed, how many were forwarded. So this is a great way to get like an idea of just kind of what's going on with those emails. There's also a section under reports here as well. And I'm just going to leave this for a second. Under reports, you can also view things like how many emails were sent. This kind of gives you more of like an expanded view, but it's almost exactly the same. And that just gives you an idea like how much emails I'm sending out. So that's super useful. Now let's just go back to campaigns again. So I mentioned under campaigns, you do have an option here for social posts. And with social posts, that allows you to do things like scheduling Facebook posts or social media posts in advance. So under this section here, you have a calendar, which you can also view by week or by month. And on the bottom here, you do have a list of any posts that are scheduled, which right now I don't have any. But you also have here your quick posts. And I mentioned those on the dashboard just a little while ago. The quick posts is where I can essentially generate content on the fly, which is already auto-populated with some graphics or information. And I can shuffle between these. There's a few different types of social posts right now. So you can kind of shuffle through and see which ones you like. Unfortunately, right now, it doesn't have like a breakdown list where it can kind of just show you, here's the quick posts, here's the ones you can choose from. You kind of have to just shuffle through. But typically, you'll find one quite quickly that you like. And, you know, something like this, for example, if I wanted to post that, again, it's going to have all the information like the verbiage, which is great. It has the image, which is the graphic that I can use. and my information with my logo, etc. And that's pretty much good to go. You can also preview these posts so you can see what it looks like. I find that quite useful as well, especially for Facebook, just to kind of get an idea what it's going to look like before I post it. And that's a great way just to have content kind of, queued up for your social media. Now, in regards to other marketing, let's say we wanted to put together some sort of graphics. Now, under the graphics, if we go to designs, let's go under designs. And I want to show you some of the options available under designs that you can use for your marketing, whether that be print marketing, whether that be your social media marketing or email marketing. There's quite a few instances of graphics we can use. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that plus button on the bottom. And you'll notice here, again, you do have an email template editor here that you can use. I have my social graphics, print, video. Now with video, that's going to be, yes, hello? I'm just going to mute. All right, so just kind of getting back into it, sorry. You're going to have a few options available again, email, social, and print. Now, let's say, for example, I want to put together a flyer that I'm going to be using for an open house on the weekend, or perhaps I'm just putting together flyers for a newly listed or just sold, etc. Let's hit that button that says print. And we're going to hit next. All right, so I'm under templates here, and you're going to notice here they're broken up into different sections. There's KW app, there's listings, you have buyer templates as well, lead gen, etc. Now for a post or graphic that I need for a new listing, as an example, you do have here for sale, or you do have just listed as well. I find that the templates are quite similar, so like either or, but the cool thing about this system is that you can basically edit those templates as you kind of select them. So let's go ahead and choose a, we'll choose a flyer. And here are the flyer templates, as you can see, there's quite a few. And we're just gonna choose one of them to use. I'll use this one. Nothing too crazy. And here's the template. So most of it's going to be drag and drop, as you'll see. I can essentially drag and drop these images in. Now, if I wanted to pull images from a listing, I can also do that. There's an option here called KWLS. And I'm just going to search for 50 Day Street. I'm just going to use that one as an example. And we're going to pull in those images. We'll select. Actually, let's go back to has more. Let's see this one here. There we go. So I'm going to use this one just as an example. And how I did that, again, I went to KWLS and I just searched for any property address. I see something in chat. Yes, it will be posted on YouTube later. So here, again, I pulled these images, and let's say I just want to take a couple of those in to use for this template. There's a couple ways you can do that as well. I do like the drag and drop method, but you can also click on an image, and I can just kind of use this little button here, and I can hit replace. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that with some of these. And let's use, we'll use this one as well. There we go. Now you'll also notice here that I can double click on these and I can just kind of move them around a little bit if I needed to. There we go. Now, as far as the verbiage goes, if I click on the verbiage, basically from here, I can use this tool. It's called Typewriter on the top. If I click on the text, let's just say this is just listed. And it kind of spread out a little bit, so I can use these little anchors and I can just stretch them out. There we go. Ooh, go. Just kind of pop that in there. Cool, looks good. And same thing here with the text. We'll just keep that as 123 Main Street, or let's do 50 Day Street, Jersey City. All right, save. So as I'm doing that, the text is just going to automatically change. And we'll click on this one as well. And I'm just going to delete some of the unnecessary stuff. Let's do that, something like that. This is in designs right now, the question in chat. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting together a marketing piece for print marketing, or it could be social media, because I can download this and I can post it anywhere that I want. If I want to change out the verbiage here, I can just click on that as well. So everything's going to be pretty much clicked through. So you'll notice that if I click on any of these things here, I can then edit them. I can change the fonts as well, but I'm not going to go into that right now. But you'll notice here I can also change some of the fonts if I wanted to. Now with the verbiage, I can also just click here. And I like to use the typewriter tool for all this stuff. You could double click on it as well, but I do think the typewriter is a little bit quicker. And that will allow me to change out the verbiage here. I'm just going to leave that right now. And the other bits of information that I need to change, I have my logo. I'm just going to swap that out. And what I did to expand that, there's these little circles, and those little circles allow me to resize that. So after I dragged it in, I can resize it. And for my information here, I'm just going to go ahead and click where it says My Assets under Images. And because I had my marketing profile filled out, as I mentioned, I do have my headshot already in here. And I'm just going to switch out the name. And I'm going to go ahead and let's pop in this information here as well. Can't type today. All right. Switch this out. And awesome, we're good. So from here, what I can do is I can save this, going to File, Save, and I can now print this if I wanted to. I can download it, and there's options to download it as well. I can download it as a JPEG. I could download it as a PDF if I want to have it as a high resolution file. But let's say we wanted to just use this for a quick post either on my Facebook page, or I wanted to send it out in an email. We can download this as a JPEG. And the JPEG will become available that I can use in my marketing. So let's hit done. All right, so how do I now get that into either my Facebook or perhaps in my email blast? So there's a couple ways I can do it. We want to go back into campaigns. And what we want to do from here, actually before we do that, let's go into a designs. So we're back in designs. Now, for me to create a template for an email, I can just simply click on that plus again. I can hit email. We'll hit next. And I'm just going to use one of these here. We're just going to scroll down. And I'm going to use a classic basic. Nothing too crazy. And again, this is just going to be a defaulted template. Right now, I have just default information there. But what we're going to do, I'm going to delete some of this. And we're going to delete this too. So we have just a clean slate, nothing crazy. And I'm going to drag in an image. So I dragged in an image, and what I can do from here is I can add an image that I downloaded. So in this case, it was the flyer. And we can pop that in, and we'll hit select. And that now is part of the template here. And I can preview it as well if I want to look at it. Looks very clean. Awesome. And that was me just dragging in an image block and pasting in that flyer we just created. So I like that a lot. So you see here, I even just created a quick template that I can now use for an email blast. We'll just call this, we'll rename it, we'll call it Listing Blast 1220. Cool. So I'm going to save and exit. Now there's a couple ways I can send this out. I can do that with a email campaign again. If I just go to email campaigns, which is under campaigns, we can create new, and we do email. We can do, let's just do advertise listing, and I'll just do test 12/2020. Set up, and it's going to be the same exact kind of steps that we just did before. I can now select my list again. Let's just do this one as an example. And I could set up the subject, say like newly listed, beautiful condo in Jersey City. All right, so we're just using that as an example. And for the content, what I need to do is just hit that select design content, and looks very similar to before. And here's the new template we created. Hit save and exit. So now that template is now populated here, as you can see. And it's going to look different in the actual email. It's not going to look like this, but if I wanted to preview this now, I can hit preview, and here we go. Looking really good. And now that's ready to be sent. So that flyer we just created in Designs, we can now translate into an email, and we can send that out automatically. So I can do the same exact thing if I wanted to now post this to social media by going under social post. And under social post, if I go where it says create a new campaign, or even going here where it says create a social post, let's say, for example, I want to have something posted tomorrow, I can click here. And what I can do now is I could browse from my library, and we do have a template here that I believe is set up. I just got to find it. Or in any case, I'll just use like this one. Let's just use, actually, where's my flyer at? I'm going to try to find that. I think maybe it was this one. Actually, no, let's see. But I'll use that one. So let's just say hypothetically that was the flyer, right? So I can select that design from my design library, and in this case, it was a image for a just sold. So if I hit crop, and I can preview this as well, you kind of get an idea what it's going to look like before it goes out, as I said. And I can just say something like newly listed. Beautiful condo in the Canco buildings in Jersey City. Contact me for more info. Cool. And again, I can preview this as I'm putting that together. Now, this is not going to be a post that's paid for. This is going to be a post that you'll essentially be setting up as just a regular business page post, just a way to kind of supplement the marketing that you have on there. And the great thing about it is that I didn't have to go to Facebook to do this. I did it all through my command. So in that regard, let's just go back to my dashboard again real quick. I want to make sure under my connected accounts, if I go to manage, I want to make sure that I have them connected here. And you notice that I have right now my account connected. I think a question I get often from agents is if they connect their personal account, is it going to be posting to their personal page? It doesn't. So you do need to have a business profile for any of this to work, whether it be your Facebook advertising or your Facebook post. They have to be connected with a business profile or else it won't work. But it does use your personal page to see what pages you manage under that account. So I think that's kind of something that some agents get confused about. But it's not going to post to your personal, so don't worry. All right. So the one other thing that I do want to show in Command is the way that you can automate some of these processes. And you can do that using a system called Smart Plans. So Smart Plans is going to help you with some of that marketing, but putting it, let me rephrase that. Smart Plans is going to help you with that marketing, but just make it more automated for you. So it's a way to kind of automate those follow-up processes, or even sending out some marketing pieces. So for example, I want to set up a customer on a monthly neighborhood nurture, which is basically market updates for a particular area of a town that they'll receive updates on every month or every couple weeks. Makes your life easier because it's going to be something that's automatically sent out every month. Now, for me to get that set up, it's very simple. If I go under library, and I'm just going to switch out from my team account to my personal. If I go under library here, you're going to notice now, if you haven't been under Smart Plans in a little while, that there's a couple new options available. There is a top rated option, and there's also a what's new option. Now, these are essentially Smart Plans that are being built by other agents, and they are sharing them to the Smart Plan library. So that's why you'll notice here that there's quite a few, and you can even do a search for, it could be a holiday. There'll be a Smart Plan for basically any sort of theme that you can think of right now. And it's just going to get bigger and bigger as more agents use them and share them. So here are some holiday ones as an example. But let's say I just want to get that monthly neighborhood nurture set up, right? So I need to go under Keller Williams here. And if I select here, monthly neighborhood nurture, I'm going to hit add Smart Plan. And then here is where I can change the name. And I just saw something in chat. Fatima saying my market center name doesn't appear on my command designs. Do I need to add it? Correct. Yes. You need to upload your logo, which I can show you after this. But the logo has to be manually uploaded. That's correct. Now, for your marketing profile, however, if you're working in any email templates or if you're working with any Smart Plans that would be sending out emails, those use your marketing profile information. So that will auto-populate your logo and your headshot, your contact information, etc. Now for this Smart Plan here, I'm just going to keep it the same name, and you can hit download, and that's going to then add that to my Smart Plans library here. Then what I can do is I can decide, whether or not I want to add people to that Smart Plan from this Smart Plan menu. As you can see, I can go down this drop-down list. I can also sort it by tags as well. Now, if I wanted to do this individually, let's say I have a group of contacts, maybe it's 10 of them, and I want to get them on a neighborhood nurture. I find the easiest way to do this is if I go under my contacts, And let's just use myself as an example. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on my name. And here, I even received one recently. Now here, if I wanted to set this person up on a neighborhood nurture, which is going to be those market updates, I could go down and I can say add neighborhood. And let's just say, for example, I'm going to search on a map. Let's say they want to receive updates for towns like Maywood or maybe like Rochelle Park. So I'll select both of those and I'll hit save. And what's going to happen is those neighborhoods are going to be added to their neighborhood snapshot landing page. So if I hit preview now, you're going to see this is what it looks like. So basically, again, it's going to pull that information from my marketing profile. So it's completely branded with my info. And it also gives them back search results from that area. So what's on the market currently. They can click on this. And this is going to be almost like a landing page with information about that property. You know, it's been listed 5 days ago, which is pretty useful. Information about the property, like the verbiage, agent, or the office rather. You can also view commute times, and you can also view areas, or you can explore the neighborhood a little bit more. Now, if I click on neighborhood stats on the top, that's going to also give them information about the area and more of like an expanded view. So homes for sale, currently pending, average days on market. Now, this isn't going to be all of Rochelle Park, but it's going to be parts of it. So it's just a sliver of the neighborhood, basically. Okay, so let's scroll down. And again, you'll see here just some current neighborhood stats, sold stats. You'll also notice I can view transit and commute times, which is useful. I can also view places. So this is kind of giving me information about the area a little bit, you know, what points of interest, like restaurants and homes for sale again. And again, this is going to be completely branded. Now, for me to send this to somebody, there's a couple ways I can do that as well. I can send it in a text message because it does give you a link right here. Or I can put them into a smart plan. So we just created that smart plan. Now, if I want to add them to it, I can just go to smart plans up here and I can say add the smart plan. And I can just essentially select from this list the smart plan I want to use. And then we'd be good to go. And that's how I would set that up. I saw some question in chat. Let me just double check that. I created a new Facebook just for real estate business. However, it wasn't created as a business page. Do you know how I can change that and make it into a business page rather? So you can't. So if you created like a new business profile that you're going to be using mainly for your real estate business, you could hypothetically just create a business page under that. But you can't like convert it from a personal to a business profile. It's just not how Facebook works. But under Facebook, and I'll just go through this. If we go under Facebook and we hit this now, what they changed, if I hit that little create button, you can see here I can create a page. And from here, what I can do on the left-hand side is I can fill out the information for that business, which let's just say it's say like sales associate at Keller Williams City Views. So that would be the business page title. Category you can put here real estate agent. You can also add real estate as well. I believe you can add up to 3. Yes, you can add up to 3.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask about that because I have a business page, but it has to do with restaurants. Is that okay?
I would create a separate one.
Separate one? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I
Thank
wouldn't use the other one.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Yeah, I think that I get that question often too. If you've already had a business page that you manage, I would just create a totally new one for your real estate business.
Okay.
Cool. So that's how you would create the page. They did make this a little bit easier now, I noticed. So now you can actually create these pages in minutes versus like tens of minutes, because it was a little bit of an annoyance before, but they kind of streamlined it a little bit more. So a little bit easier to do now. So we'll just go back into command. So I mentioned you can add people to smart plans, which would then automate that follow-up and also send that marketing piece to them every month. We went over designs, which helps you create marketing materials that would help you with regards to marketing a property, or perhaps putting together something like a holiday email. Now, let's just go back to designs real quickly. I did mention in here, you can also use this to create social media graphics. So if you're looking to do something in regards to social media and having just graphics on hand, Command's really nice because they have some that are already kind of like done for you. You'll notice that you can also select by specific sizes. So if I wanted to do something for a Instagram story, or perhaps just having something as like a square, which I can then post to my Facebook or Instagram, they have those laid out in here as well. Now, if we go where it says templates, under templates and new designs, this is typically where you can find anything like from the holidays. So like right now, it looks like they have quite a few new holiday ones, you know, your Hanukkah ones, Christmas ones, Kwanzaa, and do they have one that's just kind of like more holiday-esque? Let's see. I guess these are more so just for specific holidays, but you can always change the verbiage if you needed to. But again, these are already kind of like pre-created for you that you can use for your social media marketing. And just like we did with the print marketing, you do have in here like my just listed stuff. So in this regard, I can put together my just listed posts. One thing I do like to mention, especially with social media graphics, you want to make sure when you're putting together any of like the social media graphics, not to put too much text on it. Facebook is a little iffy with the text. So if you have too much text on your photo, the amount of reach that you get from that particular post may be limited. That's why you'll notice here on these social media graphics, they're quite simple. There's not a lot of text. There's a little bit, but not too much. Neighborhood snapshots. So kind of like how we put together the email with the neighborhood snap, you can also use this as a way to create social graphics. The other piece that is pretty big in here now as well is the ability to create your listing or buyer presentations. So that's another piece of marketing that's in here. And I do want to just show that real quickly as well before I get wrapped up. And then if there's any additional questions I can go over, we can take those as well. But under print marketing, there is a section here for buyer presentations or listing presentations. And these templates, I'm just going to use one real quickly to show. These templates already have pages that are kind of pre-created for you, and there's going to be some information here that I can fill out myself. But like most of it's going to be pretty much pre-filled. So I can say like I want to add this page, and I just clicked on it. You'll notice that it's pretty much already pre-filled for me. And I can say I want to add, this page as an example as well. And again, it's a checklist of information. these are going to be already set up for you, but you can edit them. Like this text can be edited if I needed to. Notice here, I can do that here. So I just wanted to quickly go over that. I typically do this in more of like a own separate class because there's so much information to go over in that. But I just wanted to make you aware that that's available, and they have quite a few templates now to do that. So as I'm wrapping up, I just want to quickly go under YouTube, and I always like to mention the YouTube channel here. It's Bergen County Partners. And this is where you'll be able to find any of those videos that we've done or any of those live streams that we've done. And you can rewatch them however many times you want. So definitely give that a subscribe if you haven't. Super useful. And we're up to 373. So we're getting close to 400. That's awesome. Any questions, any additional things that you wanted to ask before I get wrapped up?
Hi, Chris. I have a quick question. So I'm the one who just asked about the Facebook business page. So I guess I created a normal page at this point and I can't change it. So should I keep that page and just add that business page to that?
Yeah,
You have a
I would
person-
just do that. I would just create the business profile. If you already created that new Facebook and you're going to use that, I would just
Well, I
create
don't
a business page under that profile.
Okay. Okay.
Cool.
Chris, I think that she can also deactivate it if she wants to.
She could, yeah, if she wants to deactivate that Facebook profile and then just go back to the one, she can do that. But if she's going to be using that just to have like maybe real estate people adding her as friends,
Right.
it might be useful just to have that one open and just create the business profile under it.
Okay.
Yeah, totally up to you how you want to do that. I would definitely suggest creating the business profile under whichever Facebook you plan on using, just to kind of business related stuff.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, cool. So yeah, I'm gonna get wrapped up here. Again, if anybody had any other questions, you can feel free to reach out to me, and hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Monday. Take care. Thanks.
Thanks.